So what is going on, guys? I am Black Ops Amazing. Welcome back to another video where today we are going to be talking a little bit about the storyline for Black Ops Cold War Zombies, Samantha, Eddie, the Dark Aether, and plenty more. So if you love the zombie story like me, don't forget to drop a like rating on the video. Make sure you are subscribed to stay up to date with the latest videos. But let's get into it. Here we go and enjoy. So yesterday was the big reveal for Black Ops Cold War Zombies. We got the trailer, we got the intro cutscene for the map D Machine. We saw a few characters, one of them being a woman named Sam. We also saw Weaver, but I want to take a deeper look at the intro cutscene for D Machine because the woman we see, Sam, is Samantha Maxis, and there is loads of evidence that points towards this. Going over to the intro, we start off in East Berlin, East Germany in 1983, where we see Sam walking towards the telephone box, and if you look very closely, the number that she dials is 62947. If you've ever used a payphone, or if you had a phone before smartphones were available, below the numbers are letters that would allow you to spell out words, and the word that the number 62947 spells is Maxis. So this character, Sam, just so happens to type Maxis in the telephone. Okay, that could be a coincidence, it could just be a little reference hinting back to Dr. Maxis, but Samantha's surname is Maxis. But then as we continue and she calls up Weaver, Weaver says to her, "What have you done?" Sam replies, "Did you get the package?" Weaver says back, "We've lost 2 teams since you went dark. Old war footage is the last thing I want to see." And then Samantha says to him, "Watch the tape and then tell me I'm wrong," which is exactly what Weaver does. It shows him some old footage from back during the war. He then asks Sam, "How did you get your hands on it?" And she replies, "My friend in the KGB, a late friend." To which Weaver replies, "Germans have Russian friends?" And Samantha says, "Yeah, some of us do."
How did you get hold of this?
A friend in the KGB. A late friend.
Germans have Russian friends?
Yeah, some of us do.
So this confirms that this character, Sam, is German. You could kind of tell that from her accent, but it's not always easy to tell. However, this 100% confirms that Sam is German. Also, when she said, "Yeah, some of us do," referring to Germans having Russian friends, could that be a reference back to Richtofen being friends with Nikolai? Richtofen was German, Nikolai was Russian. They were good friends too, even at times when they shouldn't have been. I think Sam saying this might also be a nice little nod back to them because remember, she did know them when she was a child. She knew they were friends. Anyway, as Weaver watches the tape, we see some soldiers from back during the war entering the bunkers in Aether and Toten. When they get down there, they come face to face with D Machine, where it looks like it is activated, it is turned on, there is a purple glow coming from it, and this awakens the zombies. These are Nazi zombies that have clearly been left down here from the end of the war. For all we know, these could have been here since we played the original Nacht back in 2008, but to me, it looks like D Machine awakens the undead. I could be wrong there, it may have another purpose, but that's just my theory. I think it could have something to do with the Dark Aether, which could also explain the purple glow coming from it. I'll talk more on that in a minute, but as Weaver continues to watch the tape, we see the Nazi zombies kill all of these soldiers exploring the bunker, and then a week later, a cleanup crew is sent in to rid of the dead bodies and seal the doors, to make sure nothing in this bunker ever leaves. After seeing this, Weaver says they tried to bury it. Samantha then says, and it stayed buried until 2 weeks ago. Where at this point in the cutscene, we go back to Sam in the telephone box, and a mysterious looking character walks by. But not only does he pass her, he looks at her for a second. Sam definitely notices him, but this person just continues to dip his head with his hat on and walk past. So the big question is, who is this person? He walks past Sam, he looks at her, Sam also looks back at him. Is this Eddie? It would only make sense because at the end of Tag der Toten, it was only Samantha and Eddie left who walked off into this new world. They went together, so if this is in fact Samantha Maxis, which I definitely think it is, then Eddie has to exist in this same world as her. If they went off together, then Eddie has to be around somewhere. We don't obviously see him in this trailer, so is this him? I don't think it's a spy someone sent to watch Samantha. Obviously she's up to some sneaky stuff, but both of these people look at each other. If he was trying to hide from Samantha, I think he'd do a better job than this. I honestly think this could be Eddie. He looks quite young in this cutscene, but then again we don't know the exact age of our characters. Back in recent 1945, Samantha was about 11 or 12 years old. The last time we saw her before this, which was Toten, that map took place in 1965. However, because of time travel, our characters don't age. Whilst we might go through a few days or months, we don't go through many years, so Samantha still would have been around 12, 13, maybe 14 years old in the Toten ending. That was back in 1965. This cutscene happens in 1983, so assuming Samantha entered her new world at the same date as Toten in 1963, that means her age now in this cutscene, she would be around 30 years old. Like I said, that's if they didn't time travel. They might have, they might not, we don't know. She does look like she could be about 30, so if that's the case, it'd be the same for Eddie. We don't know exactly how old he was in Toten. You would think around the same age as Samantha, maybe a little bit younger, so 11, 12, 13, which would mean he is around about 30 in this cutscene as well. Maybe 27, 28, 29. Looking at him, it's difficult to tell because he's wearing a hat, you can't really see his face, but it would make sense for this to be Eddie. If they left Toten together, I don't see a reason as to why they'd go their separate ways. Surely they'd stick together in this new world, since now everyone they knew had gone. So if there's this person following Sam, it could be Eddie. And for those of you who don't stay up to date with the zombie storyline, Eddie is Toten. It was just the child version of him. Perhaps when he gets to 40 or 50 years old, he will look exactly the same, besides from the Nazi uniform, as we saw him back in the old Aether story. So technically, Toten is still alive. This is just a younger version of him. Anyway, getting back to the cutscene, as it finishes, Weaver says you have to turn yourself in, Sam. The CIA can protect you. Sam says, I can't do that, Weaver. The Omega Group have plans for the outbreak zones. I have to stay in the field. And then she walks away just before she says, I'm sorry, this is the only way, which is the point where she leaves the phone booth. Interestingly, as she's leaving, we don't see that character, that male, follow her. So if that is Eddie and he's sticking with her, you would think he'd follow her as well. Maybe we just don't see that happen in the cutscene. But there's also something else which is quite suspicious. You will notice at the same time that she leaves, the car that's parked up turns on and leaves as well. It reminds me of that classic stalker moment where someone in this car is following Sam. Is this that male character that might be Eddie? I wouldn't have thought so because they saw each other. It seems like the person in this car might be trying to follow her without being noticed. Maybe it's the KGB, the Omega Group. Also, some more evidence that Sam is Samantha Maxis. In the weeks leading up to the big reveal, we had small teasers here and there. One of those is this letter, which is addressed to M. It says, there is a developing situation at Lubyanka. They found something in the archives, something from the war. I'm not sure about the Collegium, but several of the deputy chairmen are recommending that the committee authorise a ground operation. I will try to find out what I can, but this is very worrying. These are very serious men, but I have never seen looks on their faces like I have in recent days. Tatiana. So this is a letter from Sam's friend, Tatiana, addressed to someone who is called M. We've seen M in the previous zombie storyline, where it either referred to Maxis or Monty. M could be referring to Maxis once again, only this time not Ludwig Maxis, Samantha's father, but Samantha Maxis, the woman in the phone booth. Throughout Zombies, whenever we see an initial, it always relates to the surname, and the only character with the surname beginning with M is Maxis. I think this is addressed to her, Sam, Samantha Maxis, who we also know is friends with Tatiana. And then we also had a couple of radio messages from a woman with a German accent. I'm going to let you listen to them, but it sounds like these are from Samantha.
Don't speak. Just listen. They know what you did. They're on their way to you right now. So if you want to live, don't waste time being sentimental. The cat will be fine. The only thing that matters is the tape. I will coordinate with Requiem to arrange extraction, but for now, you have to stay hidden. Go to Misha's old farmhouse and hide in the barn. Don't worry, the rats are not as big as you remember. Stay there till morning. Then, call me from the payphone by the station. We will get you out. Good luck. I know you're scared, but I need you to be brave. Again, Tatiana has the package, but I'm worried about her. She hasn't been back to Lubyanka since she took it. Bad mistake. Her superiors are not stupid men. They will notice her absence. It is most unlike her. They will bring her in for interrogation. As soon as she hears the words, the KGB has irrefutable evidence that you have been actively engaged in anti-Soviet activities. She'll talk. But that won't stop them. Go to her house. Get the package. Whether she wants you to or not. I'm working with people in the West who can help us. Help you. I want you to know that whatever happens, your actions will save many lives.
So we've heard them before, but now that we know more on the Black Ops Cold War Zombie storyline, they make more sense. Now that we know that this is Sam, she is talking to Tatiana, who was a part of the KGB. It sounds like they sent her to retrieve a tape, but she never returned, and so soon they're going to be out looking for her, and before they get her, Samantha is sending someone to go and retrieve the tape. Obviously, she gets it because in the cutscene, she sends the tape to Weaver. We can see him playing it. We now know what's on it. It is this document of D Machine back from the war. The KGB also wanted to see this. And then the final thing I quickly wanted to talk about is the universe we are in. If you go onto the Treyarch website where it talks about zombies, it says a new beginning. It wouldn't be a Black Ops game without zombies, and today, the wait is finally over. Today's reveal of Black Ops Cold War Zombies introduces fans to a new chapter, the Dark Aether story. And the name of this post is Into the Dark Aether. So, is the universe of Black Ops Cold War Zombies in the Dark Aether? That's interesting because it would mean at the end of Tag der Toten, that's the world where Samantha and Eddie would have walked off into, but to me that doesn't make sense because at the end of Tag, the whole reason for Richtoff and Takio, Nikolai and Dempsey killing themselves was to sacrifice themselves to give Samantha and Eddie a better life. It was to send them off into a new world, one that was free of zombies. And everything else such as Dr. Monty, the Shadow Man, the Apothecans, the Keepers, Victus, our zombies maps, all of that was banished back to the Dark Aether. That was all sent to one place and Samantha and Eddie walked off into another place. It wouldn't make sense for them to go to the Dark Aether because the whole point of the Tag der Toten ending was for Primus to die to give the children a better life. Them going to the Dark Aether wouldn't be better. In fact, that just makes the whole ending of Tag der Toten and Primus dying irrelevant. The whole point was to get rid of the zombies and make the children safe, but as we can see in Black Ops Cold War, the zombies return, so was Primus dying really necessary? That's a topic for a different video, but what I'm saying is it doesn't really make sense for Eddie and Richtofen to have walked into the Dark Aether at the end of Tag der Toten, yet we are being told for Black Ops Cold War we are in the Dark Aether. The only other thing I can think of is this has something to do with D Machine. If we look in the trailer, there is a purple glow surrounding it. This usually represents the Dark Aether, so I'm thinking the Soviets, when they built this machine, either they were trying to or something went wrong where they started to bring the Dark Aether into this new world. It seems like because of D Machine, things are starting to escape the Dark Aether and infect this new world where Samantha and Eddie are. That could be what the machine does. Whether or not the Soviets built it for that purpose, we won't know yet, but I think somehow it's allowing the Dark Aether to infect this new universe. And if we take a look at certain screenshots of the map, we see stuff like this, where things are floating, there are purple gems everywhere, there is this whole purple aura to the map which you would associate to the Dark Aether. This could be the Dark Aether infecting this new world. So there we go. That is it. That is all I have for you for today's video. That is absolutely everything I wanted to show you. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, hopefully you've enjoyed the video. If you have, you know what to do. Drop a like rating. Make sure you are subscribed to stay up to date with the latest zombies videos on the channel. And I will see you guys in the next video. Until then, goodbye.